Hi, I'm at Soda Canyon up in the hills above Napa. Amazing history here, amazing things to be seen. Castles, walls, constructions, columns, everything is here. And I'm just going to show you a few things. Just take a quick little walk. I'll show you some of the construction and the castle. So down here on the main Soda Canyon is the old entrance gates. Very high quality stonework. All hewn, cut stone. The tool marks are clearly evident all through the area. And there's connected, assembled stone walls that are well built. These actually go on. If you take a look at the overview and the terrain map on the Google map, specifically on terrain, it makes it a lot easier to find the walls. These ones go on for miles, and they go up and down all these hills. So you can see I'm following this interesting portion of an old rock wall, and it goes up the hill, goes beyond. There's all kinds of remnants of all of the old construction here, which is very unusual because it's mainly large quarried stones moved over tremendous distances. And there's not a lot of good history, and there's simply no construction photos of any of this. And the story is this was a great destination if you were interested in getting away from it all and coming up to some mineral baths or whatever. Lemonade. They made lemonade here, seltzer. So here's a castle, because it is. There's several vantage points that are making this visible now due to some recent fires over the last several years. Normally this would be impossible to see due to the overgrowth. But just looking around briefly, there's hidden construction, high quality stonework construction literally everywhere. And up on this hill, I'm seeing things. I don't know what they are exactly, but it's very interesting anyway. So I'm on Soda Canyon Road in Napa, and we're going to get some better views of what really is the structure. What is it? On top of the Soda Canyon Road, as you veer up right off of Soda Canyon, so there's another set of columns here, and this is the third set. Two of them are easily visible, and there's another set that are off the trail. And they're very colossal, but they're made out of materials that are very hard to work with. And then I've also noticed some evidence that suggests there was a tremendous amount of heat here, which damaged a lot of the rocks. So this appears to be cut and machined corner assembled basalt or granite. So amongst the hardest of the stones. Then on top of the column is this unusual ball. And what these are is this is a large ball of melted red brick, and it may be difficult to see that from this particular angle, And you go over to the other one, and it's the same situation. This is a melted brick ball, and you can tell that it was liquefied and dripping, and it's charred, but it may not be recognizable as red brick right now. So what I've shown you so far, but I will show you where it is. So looking at the column, you can see that this material has a lot of this looks like bubbling rock, and some of it is more obvious than others, and there's a lot of variation, but I will now show you the brick core of these columns that is not melted. This is absolute proof. There can be no doubt that that is a ball of brick and mortar bricks. And you can see the old bricks. You can see the mortar. This part has come off, and the rest is absolutely vitrified, liquid, molten brick and mortar. There's another one of these balls that are on the grounds in South Napa, right near the grape crusher statue in their parking lot, and it's just used as a boulder to keep people from driving on the dirt, but it is also one of these molten brick balls, and they're pretty unusual, and let you decide. So this is as far as you're able to go at the end of Soda Canyon Road. This road, if you follow the Google map, you'll see that we're only a few thousand feet from the actual castle grounds around this section. But standing here and looking into the hillside, there are walls upon walls upon walls. So there's the structure up the hill, more structure, and there's even more as you go. And there were some fires here a number of years ago, and most of this area was invisible until recently. Too much growth to see, and now that it's green, it's easier to see things that were missed, things that exist out here. This was a heavily used area at one time. This is an example of the wall construction that exists in the Greater Bay Area, all the way up into Northern California near Sonoma, Calistoga, St. Helena, Yountville, Napa, South Napa, American Canyon, Vallejo, and then you cross over onto Highway 80 and continue southward. And these walls exist of similar construction all the way to San Jose, and there's thousands of miles of them, and you'll hear a lot of different stories about who constructed these walls. A close inspection of the walls finds that many of them have been heated to very high heat, and that's usually pretty easy to see when you notice that one side of the stone is normal looking and the other looks like charcoal, all throughout Napa Valley, and very likely in your area as well. So Soda Canyon for now. Quite a history. So I'm just out having a nice time, way up the hill, several miles from Napa, and the only way that was accessible in the 1800s was by stagecoach or horseback. and we're way high in elevation. But just walking up here, I'm looking at everything on the ground around, and there are large scattered mounds or possible old foundations of existing structure. And again, everything shows signs of an extreme heat event, which can be very hard to listen to. But these rocks have stood the test of time, and they still show things that could have happened. And it's hard to know what's really happened, because history tends to be very fuzzy, and there's a lot of stories, and there's pictures that people will show that show something happening on a building that may not have been happening at all. But this entire field, this large area, is, and this goes for all of Napa County, is on the surface of the land are large boulders and rocks. Some are cut, some are not. Some have machine marks, some do not. They're on the surface, and they've essentially been a nuisance to all of the grape growers, and so they're always pushing them aside. They keep coming out. They're on the surface. So something that was not an ancient event, otherwise these stones would be buried and long gone, but they're all still here, and they're all still poking up, and they've been melted. Many of them have obviously been melted, and there can be no other conclusion. The evidence of a rock that was to the point of being molten and bubbling and gassing off and dripping can be seen in old structures. So we'll see where we go next.